This period of instruction is going to cover static stretching for the lower body. Static stretching is generally agreed to be one of the better ways to improve range of motion and flexibility. It's also very easy to do, does not require much, if any, additional equipment besides a stable horizontal surface, nor does it require an additional person to execute the static stretches. There are some downsides to static stretching, however. Notably, a growing body of research has indicated that the ability to rapidly develop force immediately following static stretching and for periods that have exceeded an hour or more is reduced. In other words, your ability to move explosively after acute bouts of static stretching is reduced. So, consequently, it's not advised that an athlete engage in any form of static stretching preceding a game or a practice or a workout of any kind. Rather, the best time to do this type of exercise, the static stretching, is at the end of the training day after all of the working out that you're going to do for that day is completed. In fact, it's a very easy thing to do vegging out in front of the television before you go to bed at night. Another benefit of static stretching, or improving flexibility in general, is that many of the lower limb joint issues that athletes suffer from are often brought about not by blunt force trauma or improper landing mechanics, but rather an imbalance or insufficient flexibility of the soft and connective tissues around a particular joint. Now, that's not to say that there aren't injuries that athletes suffer that have nothing to do with flexibility, but one of the benefits of improving and creating balanced, flexible lower limb connective tissue is the opportunity to perhaps be less susceptible to tendinitis type injuries that result as a consequence of having improper or imbalanced flexibility. Now, what we're going to go over here in a minute are about 8 different static stretching activities that address comprehensively the entire major muscle groups of the lower body. The quadriceps, the hamstrings, the glutes, the calves, the groin. We're even going to do one for the lower back, as it is often tied in with the muscles of the thighs, flexing and extending the hips. Now, some general notes about static stretching. Ideally, it's done daily. Obviously, schedules don't always allow for that. The more often you can do it, the better it's going to be. The more you will enjoy the effects, positive effects of improving flexibility and range of motion. Now, as long as it's not done preceding practices or games or competitions or workouts, there's really no contraindication that would result from doing static stretching on a daily basis. When you do a bout of static stretching, like we're going to go through here momentarily, you should plan to do 1 to 3 sets of each of the stretches for each side of the body that it's a unilateral stretch, holding each stretch for between 30 and 60 seconds. Now, how far should you go? The general rule of thumb is that you should stretch to the point of mild discomfort. Not moderate, certainly not extreme discomfort, but mild discomfort, and hold that degree of stretch over the course of the 30 to 60 seconds. If you find over the course of that time that you're able to slightly increase your range of motion without increasing the mild discomfort, you're encouraged to do so. The stretch should be held in a steady fashion. You do not want to bob or bounce. And you should try your utmost to relax despite the mild discomfort while doing each of these stretches. It will actually make it a bit easier to go through a greater range of motion with each of the stretches. Now, we're going to first address the stretch for the hamstrings. The hamstrings are the muscles in the back of your thighs. This is something that can be done a variety of different ways. Basically, any activity where you're keeping your knee extended and bending at the hip will bring about a stretch of the hamstrings. Here we're going to use a chair. You could use the ground, you could be laying down on the ground. There are a variety of different ways to do this, like I said. I'm just going to show you one of them. Keeping your knee extended, you're going to place your heel on the chair or other stable object. Depending on how flexible you are to begin with, you might be able to get away with using a higher surface that you're supporting yourself on. Keeping the knee extended, keeping the chest out and back slightly arched. Going to lean forward so you feel that stretch in the back of your thigh and your hamstrings. Once you reach that point of mild discomfort, wait there, hold it for 30 to 60 seconds, moving forward slightly if you can without increasing the degree of mild discomfort you're experiencing, and then switch sides. Knees extended, chest is out, back is arched. Leaning forward, feeling that stretch in the back of the thigh. So that's one of the basic hamstring stretches. For the quadriceps, the muscles of the front of the thigh, if need be, you can balance yourself against an immovable object, a door frame, a chair, a table. Grasping the same foot with the same hand, keeping your posture upright, knees together, pulling on the laces of your shoe or the instep of your foot to stretch the front of the leg whose knee is bent, leaning back slightly while pulling up on the foot, and you will feel eventually that mild discomfort across the muscles of the front of your thigh. Hold that for 30 to 60 seconds without increasing the pain to the point where it exceeds mild discomfort. Switch sides from the side. Again, hand is grasping the same foot at the laces or the instep. Posture is upright. Knees are together when viewed from the side. Pulling up on the foot, leaning my shoulders back slightly without letting my knee come way forward. If anything, push your knee back a little bit until you feel that stretch in the quadriceps, the muscles of the front, the front of the leg. Hold it for 30 to 60 seconds, and then release. Now, for the muscles of your calves, the back of your lower leg, again, several different ways you can do this. You can go one leg at a time, bracing against an immovable object. The back leg is extended. Forward leg, for balance, is placed under your chest. And then you just lean forward, bringing your back heel slightly off the ground so you feel that stretch in the calves. Hold it for 30 to 60 seconds at that point of mild discomfort, possibly increasing the degree of the stretch if the mild discomfort doesn't increase. And switch sides. This one will take a little bit of finagling the position of your back foot, the degree that you're extending your extended leg knee. But you will eventually feel it, and that's when you know you can start that 30 to 60 second count. This can also be done doing both legs at the same time, positioning your feet like so. And holding it for 30 to 60 seconds. Now, there are a couple of ground-based exercises that we'll also go over. To stretch the groin, that is the muscles of the inner thighs, you sit on the ground with your feet together, directly in front of your hips, grasping the tops of your feet, pulling up on your toes and pushing with your elbows down on the inside of your legs to try and bring your knees toward the ground, all the while leaning forward at the hips, will combine to give a sensation of really stretching the inner thighs out. Get that to the point of mild discomfort, hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. When viewed from the side, same idea. Feet are together in front of the body, grasping the front of the feet with the hands, pulling up on the toes, pushing down on your legs with your elbows, and leaning forward, relaxing, and feeling the stretch, holding it for 30 to 60 seconds. Now, a stretch for the lower back. You have your feet out in front of you. This is an exercise where you're going to want to keep your knees bent a little bit. You don't want the hamstrings to limit the degree that you can lean forward. And then you're going to pull yourself forward, stretching out the lower back. Trying to bring your torso as far down toward your legs as possible. Gradually increasing that range of motion if you're able to do so over the course of the 30 to 60 seconds that you're holding the stretch. When viewed from the front, just like so. And again, it's worth mentioning that everyone's degree of flexibility is different. There are some people that can turn themselves into a pretzel, and other people, such as myself, that cannot. So you just have to go to that point of mild discomfort for the individual. That's when you know you're getting a good stretch. Now, a stretch for the glutes, which is the muscles of the butt, and to a lesser extent the hamstrings. You're going to have one leg flat on the ground, knee extended, have the other leg flexed at the knee and crossed over so that that foot and ankle are to the outside of the extended leg knee. You're going to clasp your hands to pull on the flexed knee back toward the opposite hip, while also rotating your shoulders toward that flexed knee. So you feel the stretch in the glutes and to a lesser extent the hamstrings, mostly the glutes in this particular case, of that flexed leg. Pull back on that knee, rotate that torso, hold that for 30 to 60 seconds at the point of mild discomfort, adjusting the degree of stretch accordingly. Switching sides and angles so you can see one leg extended flat on the ground, the other leg flexed at the knee with the foot and the ankle to the outside of the extended knee, hands clasped at the flexed knee, pulling back toward the opposite hip, leaning the shoulders toward that flexed knee. Feel the stretch all through the flexed knee side of the glutes. Hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. Now, another good exercise to stretch out the glutes and to a lesser extent the hamstrings. You're going to lie on your back. You're going to have one knee flexed. You're going to put the ankle in front of that flexed knee, grasping that ankle with the opposite hand, and then the other hand going underneath the knee as shown, pulling with both hands on the ankle and knee respectively. In so doing, this leg here, my left leg in this case, definitely feel across the glutes this stretch, just like so. I'll show this one from a couple different angles because it's somewhat complicated relative to the others. So my right and left hands are pulling on my left knee and right ankle respectively, and I'm feeling this the more I pull in my right glutes. Again, everyone's flexibility level is different. I'll show this one more from this angle. One additional stretch I'd like to show you works the hamstring and to a lesser extent the glutes. We're going to be lying on our back. Again, one leg will be extended and on the ground. The other leg will have its knee flexed, and your hands will clasp just below the knee on that flexed knee. And you're going to try and pull your thigh up toward your torso. Just like so. Trying to keep that straight leg on the ground and trying to pull just below the knee of the flexed knee, the thigh up toward your chest. Again, you'll feel this all through the glutes and to a lesser extent the top of the hamstring. Switching sides. Holding it for 30 to 60 seconds till you reach mild discomfort. Or once you reach mild discomfort, holding it 30 to 60 seconds. Just to show it from another angle. Alright, so we went over several different static stretches for the lower limbs. Again, to reiterate why static stretching is important, it improves flexibility, it's also easy to do, and it can be done on a very frequent basis. Remember, do not do these stretches prior to a practice or a game or a workout. And again, reviewing the set rep scheme, 1 to 3 sets, 30 to 60 seconds worth of hold per side, per stretch. Hold at the point of mild discomfort. If over the course of the 30 to 60 seconds you're holding these stretches, you can increase that range of motion without making it more painful, feel free to do so. And that in a nutshell is static stretching for the lower body.